Thanks everybody for joining us today. That video is a depiction of what I think we've been working at in 21 for so many years, that things can change if enough of us want them to. And we as an organization driven by the voice of this community have together been working on making real change happen. And once and for all, can this place that folks call home be everything it can be. So I'm excited today to present the Community Vision Report 2021. And this is a culmination of almost 2 years worth of work, 1,200 individual interviews from residents and stakeholders in the 24/1 footprint, hearing their voice and getting their direction on the next decade of work to be done here in the 24/1 footprint. The new vision, as put together and heard by and vetted by community residents and leaders and other stakeholders, is to create neighborly communities, invested families, and successful businesses. Underneath that, there are 5 change priorities: community unity, economic opportunity, neighborhood safety, community vibrancy, and youth achievement. Again, all of this is the voice of this community, folks who live here, folks who pay their taxes here, folks who are engaged in, again, making change in this community. Talk a little more about what each one of these 5 things means. Under community unity, developing Wellston not only through a BURN grant, which is a Department of Justice grant focused on community policing and again, other police parameters to make in the city of Wellston safer and build better relationships between community police. But there's many other things happening in Wellston. Great leadership by Young Voices with Action, leadership from the mayor and the city council, the revitalization of public housing units in Wellston. So a lot of great things going on. In addition, we're going to continue to host town hall and events where everyone feels welcome. We have to bring everybody together. This is not just about a handful of folks making change in the community. It's about everybody being a part of it, having their voice be heard, and recognizing all the things that are going on. Share positive news and uplifting stories on the 24/1 Facebook page. And if you're not following that, please do so on the TV news and in local media outlets. We know changing the narrative about this community is really important, that if folks somehow are not aware of all the great things that have happened over the last decade, it's our collective job to make sure that they do, that they hear about the fantastic work, about the great stories, about the remarkable residents that live here, about the change that is happening in this community. Next, we want to promote volunteerism, right? We have to get everybody engaged. We can't have some passive recipients of all the collective work of those who are again making change in the 24/1 footprint. We need everybody to participate, whether it's on your block, in your community, or somewhere else in the 24/1 footprint. Increase resident participation on Nextdoor and the 24/1 Facebook. Again, part of the way that we can get connected today in 2021 is by using Nextdoor, where you're communicating about good things and challenges and issues. Again, stay connected, feel like you know your neighbor, feel like you're a part of something larger than yourself. Don't feel like it's just about you and your house and your family alone. It's about all of us together moving this community forward. Lastly, promoting the 24/1 community with a place branding campaign. People need to feel together. People need to feel like they're in this together, that this is a place that they are proud of, they feel good about, they want to tell their friends and neighbors and everyone else about. So again, let's put together a place branding campaign so we can talk about all the great things that are happening in 24/1. Economic opportunity. How do we bring this vision to life? Supporting startups, entrepreneurs, and Black-owned businesses. I am thrilled to say that Carter Commons in the city of Pagedale is doing fantastic. If you've not been there since it opened 60 days ago in the food hall to visit Healthy Habits and Gossip Pasta, I urge you to do so. Again, those are Black-owned businesses. Those are entrepreneurs. Those are female entrepreneurs doing remarkable work. You will not be disappointed with the food and the service there in Carter Commons. We're going to soon open up a Girlfriend's Closet, a clothing boutique, a Burn 365, a fitness center. Again, both those businesses owned by female entrepreneurs, African-American entrepreneurs. Again, the folks who are doing everything that this community said they wanted to see happen is happening in Carver Commons. So again, if you've not yet been there, please go there. If you have been there, please keep going there. Counter voter suppression and increase voter turnout. If you've been watching the news, there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff happening all across the country, and Missouri will soon be joining them, because that's sadly where our state sits on the political pantheon. So we have to fight. We have to be vigilant. We have to make sure our collective voice is being heard. And when we turn out, and when we put out great turnout numbers, people pay attention, and the powers that be will pay attention. So we got to get ready. Partnering with employers for paid internship opportunities. Again, how do we work with employers in this footprint, whether it be, you know, a Fortune 10 company like, excuse me, Cigna, Express Scripts, or others in the footprint. Again, how do we give, you know, young folks in our community opportunities to learn about the business, to understand what's going on, to build relationships that could lead to future employment or will build their skill sets over time. And lastly, better utilizing the community assets, including the University of Missouri St. Louis, which over the last several years, quite frankly, has done a remarkable turnaround in terms of relationship with our community. They've done a remarkable job at listening, about paying attention, about being engaged in conversations, about hearing the voice of the community, aligning their strategic plan with the 24/1 land use plan. Again, we have this great anchor institution that we need to continue to partner with, continue to make sure we're working with them on a day-to-day basis to make this community everything it can be. Next, neighborhood safety. How are we going to make this happen? Increase engagement between residents and police. You know, whether it's the North County Cooperative, whether it's the City of Normandy, the Pagedale Police Department, the Northwoods Police Department, all of our police departments in the footprint. How do we make sure that there's stronger, closer relationships between residents and police? I think everyone knows the power and the importance of community policing and what that can do to safety, and again, the perceptions about how we do this together. Expanding access to care for behavioral health. Again, we know the trauma that exists in our community based upon the challenging lives that some of the residents face day in and day out. And how can we make sure we can expand access for behavioral care for behavioral health? It's also important to note that in our footprint, the St. Louis County Children's Services Fund is a resident and a tenant in the city of Pagedale. They provide grants for children needing, again, mental health services. So again, we're thrilled to have them, as well as BJC Behavioral Health is in Pagedale as well. So we have some resources here, but let's make sure we expand it and make sure folks in our community know about it. Increasing participation in neighborhood watches. Whether you're getting a Ring camera and participating, or whether you just have your eyes on the street, we know neighborhood watches work. We know, again, a sense of safety is brought by when you know your entire community is getting behind you. So let's see if we can increase participation in neighborhood watches. Again, distributing video doorbell cameras, again, whether it's Ring or some of the other ones that are available. The more eyes on the street, police departments have said that is tremendously helpful in solving crimes. That is tremendously helpful in making sure that they can, keep our neighborhoods, our streets as safe as possible. And implement best practices for police professionalism and internal investigations. You know, to hold our police department to the highest standards possible. You know, they have an obligation to again, do their work well, and be respectful of residents and everyone they interact with. So let's again implement those best practices for our police departments. Next, community vibrancy. How do we bring this vision to life? Develop a home repair program. Beyond Housing has had the good fortune of receiving well over $10 million in grants over the last decade to bring repair dollars to over 1,200 homes occupied by mostly seniors in our community. How do we bring more programs like that to help more homeowners again take care of their properties, invest in their homes, invest in their neighborhoods, see property values go up, have folks who again have the misperception about what this community is, see all the beautiful housing stock that exists in the 24/1 footprint. Help create new homeowners. How do we tell people there are some great things happening in the 24/1 footprint? come and be a part of it. Come and be a part of all the great things that are happening. We have University of Missouri St. Louis here in our footprint. Again, we have Express Scripts Cigna. We have beautiful housing stock. We have, again, great things happening from an economic development standpoint. Come join us and be a part of this great future that's going to be in front of 24/1. Investing in culture and arts. Again, how do we make arts a bigger part of the future of 24/1? How do we make sure that we're utilizing all the great talents and skills of folks living in this community? Again, how do we use arts as a companion piece to housing and education and health and economic development to, again, bring a bright future for this community? Repurposing vacant lots. Again, we know there are a number of vacant lots in our community, and how do we, again, put them back into use in a constructive and positive way for our entire community? What could that be? Is that a side lot for a neighbor so they can enjoy that? Is it a community garden? Is it what are the possibilities for all the vacant lots in our community, including rebuilding on them and again, bringing new homeowners to the community? And lastly, investing in placemaking, intentionally creating public spaces. Again, when we think about the idea of creating buildings like a grocery store and a movie theater, those are great. But are we really placemaking when we do that? We have to be more intentional about public spaces where people can gather, public spaces where people can enjoy their community and feel pride in their community, like so many other parts of the St. Louis region have. Next, youth achievement. Work with entire families and schools. Again, how do we support not only children, but their entire families to make sure that that child can take advantage of the educational opportunities that are presented to them each and every day? We know the challenges that families face, and if they have the weight of all those challenges on their shoulders each and every day, it makes it harder for them to fully participate and ensure that the children are being successful. Let's work with entire families to make that happen. Encourage parent and teacher partnerships. Again, that connectivity between the teacher and the parent is so critical. And again, how do we encourage that and see if we can make that happen? Hosting fatherhood support groups. Let's bring the dads more fully into the educational success of the children, not suggesting that they're not currently, but again, how do we give more opportunities, create the context for, again, fathers to join together about how they can support their kids being successful in school. Expand the Read With Me program. There are a number of programs like that that are out in the world, and how do we expand that in a way that, again, gives our children that leg up they need to, again, have their literacy skills be exactly where they need to be so they can be successful in their entire educational life. Increasing teacher engagement programs in the community. Again, how do we give hardworking teachers, again, some opportunities to be in community, to meet with folks, to, again, have greater connectivity, to build those positive relationships that are oh so critical for our children to be successful, both in the classroom and outside the classroom. And offer additional youth programming, right? To make sure from an after-school standpoint and a summer standpoint that every child has something, again, in their life, whether, again, it be sports, whether it be arts, whether it be educational in nature, make sure that there is a opportunity for them to have a caring adult around them and programmatic efforts that will help them be successful. It's a big, broad, bold, audacious vision and plan for the future for this community. This is the community's voice. This is, again, everything that was heard over a 2-year process of engaging and being in communications, vetted back through community leadership. This is the direction for the next decade that this community wants to go. We are prepared and ready to roll up our sleeves to, again, assist this community do everything we can to make its dream about the place it calls home to come true. I thank you guys for participating and hearing about this new collective vision. I hope you're excited. If you're not plugged in, I hope you get plugged in. If you're already plugged in, thank you for what you do and keep it up, because if this place is going to move forward, we're going to need everybody putting their oars in the water and rowing the same direction.